Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Hi, hello to all of my lovelies, my beauties, my royalties. How are you doing? Take that deep breath. Take that deep breath before you take a sip of that piping hot, scorching, bubbling petty tea. That really good petty tea. If you like it cold, hold the ice because ice is a hot mess in these streets. So, yes, they are. Yes, they are. And well, hi and hello to all of my haters. Sometimes I wonder, is my bully still listening? I don't think she is because I think she it's really funny when certain people call others dumb and stupid and stuff. I mean, yeah, and that's one reason why I compared her like a little bit to the president because she does, and it's like sometimes things happen, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, and she got more evidence that she is so much like that no good Pinocchio lying bigot. Okay, sorry. Yeah, thank you for letting me vent. Thank you for letting me vent. But yeah, this episode for the black women, everyone else too, but oh, it's just crazy because so many white people, they don't understand their white privilege. They don't understand why, like, literally, while they're doing like white privilege things, they don't think it's white privilege things. And the more that I talk about my horrible dating life and experiences and some of the things that I have witnessed and learned, especially from white men, ooh, it gets interesting. And then also with the laws and the things that they're doing within our country and how a minority person or black person mostly, it's like our country's trying to make it so that they can't sue if they don't get to the position because of racism, even though we face racism so much when it comes to employment and being treated fairly. More evidence, like, I mean, first it's like with the college acceptance, and now it's with our voting, and then you have the Crown Act, and then it's like I've said so many examples throughout the over 700 episodes. Yeah, go catch up, but like so many white people don't understand the difference when white people have an organization for white people. That's racist. But then they try to call us racist when we have a black community. That's for safety. Yeah. It's kind of like, okay, the way that okay, I have an example. Because okay, white people, white people. Okay, pay attention. Okay. The colonizers and undergrounds both pay attention because, here's a way to see it. Having a black organization allows us to feel safe and safe in a way where, okay, white people, when you're walking in certain areas and you pass by a black person, and you cross the street or you hold your purse or you try to move in an area so you're not close to that black person anymore, and then you feel safe when you're on the other side of the street and you're in your car and it's locked, and or you're in an area where it's majority your people and stuff like that, or you found your friend that you're meeting for lunch and things. Yeah, though, that's how black organizations feel. That's our safety. That's us crossing the street. That's us getting in the car and locking the door. Because, okay, here are some examples. Because I already told you guys about the lawsuit where there was a nonprofit for black women and women of color to get business grants. Because black women alone, so we only get a percentage of a percentage. I think it was like 0.008 of business grants and stuff are really given to, like, black women and things. And so they were trying to give more black women and women of color a chance to get money so that they can start their own businesses, be entrepreneurs and things. But then a group of white men were like, no, that's racist. And at first, the white men lost. But then it's who you know, not what you know. They kept going, they kept going, they kept going. And they had money. And they finally won and tore it all apart and stuff. And they don't care how hard it is for black women. Like I might, like, if I might put the numbers on here of what the each demographic and getting grants and how easy and things like that are. I know personally because I'm doing that for my businesses right now. So yes, like creating the business plan and writing everything out, and it's like what, like even creating my timelines and things like that. So when I present it to them, yeah, I might talk about that in one of the other channels, discussions, because I want to talk about my business and how I'm developing and all the paperwork that I need to do. Baby steps, baby steps. But now we have another lawsuit, and it's about black doctors. Yeah, this might end up being a medical night. I might do a full thing on the medical nightmare portion because I can go on and on just with how I know why we need a site of black doctors. Because when it comes to the care for black people for a higher percentage of survival, yeah. Because I remember I did an interview on two different medical or not medical, disability podcasts. One of the guys, like, he wanted to erase it because he was like, oh, I don't believe that's true. And I literally sent him an article, but then he was just like, he still didn't believe, like, he didn't want to post the episode because I'm telling him how at some med schools teach how they say black people have thicker skin or they don't feel the pain the same and all this other garbage. And it's like there's just, and then also the racism within medical school, and like a lot of people with stereotypes of black people, when black people say we're in pain, they automatically think we're trying to get, you know the little special candies or whatever. And because I went through that. And yeah, I'm gonna talk all about, because yeah, I already talked to you about Dr. George Cirilli. Look up that one episode alone, because one day I'm going to talk about the whole series of just the the pain and suffering of going through the pain and suffering of trying to find a doctor who believed me. And now we have this no good, selfish, I think he's a dermatologist, like, white male doctor who is now saying it's racist because he is not allowed to be on this site. Not everything is about you. Not everything is about you. Okay, like, if he only knew, like, even with black maternity, like when black women get pregnant, we need more studies, we need more care. But oh, guess what? Studies, our government's like, no, get rid of anything that has to do with black. And they even did this one interview in Congress talking to RFK Jr. and he's like, he didn't get, like, he was like, oh, we're gonna do studies for all women. Oh, I'm not going by race. Like, when black women are 3 times as likely to pass away during childbirth, maybe look into that. But they don't want to look into that. And then when they talk about people being under baby, they don't care about black women. They don't care about black women. They don't want us baby to begin with. They don't want us baby to, yeah. Because even remember years ago, like, this is disability and black people related, but there were some towns where when a black young lady needed to go to the doctors for something that had nothing to do with her uterus, they'd be like, "Oh yeah," it's like, "Oh, we're gonna give her a quick surgery." Yeah, yeah. It's like, and then they literally take out a uterus to make sure she couldn't have kids. And the woman didn't know. Some of them were girls, but the girls and the women, they didn't know. They had that taken away from them. They didn't know. It's like the way these white doctors in the past, like they treated the black women and treated black women with disabilities, not allowing them a voice or choice or conversation. But we see this lawsuit right here, and like, yeah, the white people are just like, "Oh, that's racist." No, it's like the same way you guys feel when you see us walk by you on the streets. You hold your purse tighter, your keys, your wallet, or whatever, or you look at us wondering why we're there, what we're doing, or who we're trying to bother and stuff. Yeah, I remember this happening several times, especially when I was working promotions. Depending on what city and location. And oh yeah, because a few episodes ago I did mention Ohio because I was just like, yeah, as long as one of the Michigan schools, U of M or State beats Ohio, good. One of the reasons is because of the racism, like doing promotional modeling in Ohio several times. Yeah, yeah, I have met some pretty like, and I'm not saying all Ohio people. Okay, let me. So there's like actually, yeah, there were some amazing people in Ohio. Some. I think there was one. I was working right near the one of the libraries, and there was this one like there was this one woman. I remember she went through the whole display that I was working, and then she comes back, and she like I just remember she was just like, "Honey, who did your makeup? Who did your makeup? You look as cute as a doll. Oh my god, you look as cute as a doll." And I just remember like, uh, oh, okay, thank you. And she took out like some pen and paper, and she told me to like write down which makeup products I was using and everything. So I don't know, it's just like it was a compliment. And yeah, it's like, so yeah, it's like she said something else too, but it kind of linked, like, okay, it wasn't racism, but i i I remember she mentioned she hopes her son ends up with a black woman. Kind of like how Mr. No Heart's mom said that she couldn't wait for me to get pregnant by her son because she's always wanted a mixed one. Yeah. So yeah, that's why like it started off as a compliment, but then it started kind of getting like, okay, we're not pets. So you just want him to impregnate a black oh god, mm. And I know they're all over, but I'm just saying, like, like every time I ended up in Ohio, something happened. And it's just like, dang. But okay, with the lawsuits that's going on, with the medical situations and the business loans, and then when it comes to having black organizations and universities, white people are still out. Okay, we need to teach Black history. We really need to teach Black history. With how many times I've heard white people tell me, it's racist. It's not fair. How come Black people have colleges and universities? White people, we need to have white colleges and universities. Idiots. Slaves were the ones that helped build Harvard and Purdue and things, and yeah, we were not allowed in. They were whites only. The reason we have black colleges and universities is because we were not allowed in yours. It wasn't until after like desegregation. You know what? Yeah, I need to read up more on that because I know with K through 12, desegregation, but I never really learned much about the desegregation of colleges and universities. And to me, that would be, and I might even see, are there any documentaries on that? Because I want to read about it, but also, like, that would be a really good movie because, yeah, we do see the K through 10. Like, my parents went through the K through 12, so they told me about that. And my mom did start, like, she went to, like, she was one of the first ones in our family to go to college, and she got a bachelor's and a master's and stuff like that. But, and she did talk a little bit about the racism, but at the same time, it's like, I want to know about, like, right at the beginning, how was the transition and things like that. So, but okay, sorry, it's like I know my ex, Mr. Nohart, he was so proud that he never had to learn any African American history. And I think maybe that's one reason we have so many ignorant, poorly educated, stupid, dumb, just outright idiots around in this country, because they say that it's racist to have black colleges and universities. And a lot of white men say I'm a bigot because I will not date a Republican. I repeat, because I won't date a Republican. They call me a bigot and racist. I hope they know there are Hispanic and Asian and Black Republicans too, and I will never date any of them. But no, we've got a lot of idiots out here. We really do. We really do. And like, my ex doesn't realize, like, there's over 50 reasons why I broke up with him. And the day, because I've said the story before, but I will never forget when he told me that he never had to celebrate African American Month. He never had to learn any African American history. But again, we have people saying having black colleges and universities are racist, and then having black groups are racist. What? Okay, do you guys say that about the white hate groups of the KKK and the Proud Boys? Do you say that about them? Because our country won't even say that about them. They said it about Black Lives Matter, but they didn't even say it about the white supremacist groups. And they don't know the history, or it's like, because especially with a lot of the white supremacist groups, a lot of them the history leads back to the churches. And that's one reason why after their church sermons they would go outside, have their picnics, and hang people. Yeah. Strange fruit. Strange fruit. And so many people don't even know of the history. But then at the same time, our country is trying to erase the history to make sure that a lot of the students, or a lot of Generation Z and A, aren't going to learn it, so they won't care, or that will allow them the power to repeat it. Because if you don't know your history, that's how you repeat history. And that's one reason why we are starting to go back in history right now, because we have so many poorly educated, ignorant people out here, and or people who, they enjoy the racism, they enjoy what happened, and they enjoy the whitewashing of the history to allow them to forget, and to allow them to not care, and allow them to dehumanize a group of people all over again. Because that back then they had benefits, back then they got superiority, back then they got to treat other people like they were not good enough, or they were lower class, and that they got to be just treated better just because of the color of their skin. But then people want to turn around and call me a bigot and racist just because I will not date the party that encourages the racism to begin with. They want to treat me like garbage. They want to treat me like trash. They want to say anything and everything about me because I say I will not date. Who in their right mind would date somebody who, like, no? And oh yeah, if you don't know, check out the Patreon. Check out I have all the evidence on, like, not all, because I still have a lot of river racism. I still have a lot of dating nightmares. A lot. Yeah, I haven't posted in a few days, or I haven't uploaded some of the, because it's like I'm trying to get the candle business up, and I'm so excited. Like, waiting on like a couple more items, and then yeah, and then also the greeting cards and the novels, and oh, I do have a new poem up on the site, so you can check that out. I'm gonna have a few more poems up, possibly before the June, either before June or right after June. I'm still fixing up a couple of them, but I'm so excited. So yeah, I'm gonna have new work and the novel. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And then the recipe book that's gonna, complement. And then also, yeah, speaking of candles, some of the candles are gonna be, yeah, so I'm not gonna say too much. Just like, yeah, that's gonna be for the other channel, but at the same time, I'm yeah, because I'm gonna be talking about my technique and what I'm gonna be doing, and like the creations, and not my recipes, but my creating process and stuff. So, but with that, when I look for grant money, I am gonna be looking up grants for Black or African Americans and women and Black women and people with disabilities and people with my type of disability, because like a lot of grant money is for the straight white able-bodied man. And throughout my entire life, I've watched white men use white privilege and then turn around once I find something or get something to be able to even help me get forward. Oh, you're using, that's not fair. You're Black. See, oh, you only got this because you're Black. And it's just like, because, okay, even teaching, and I mean, I've seen this happen several times, but even after graduating and things, I would start hearing a lot of the white guys say, "Oh yeah, my dad's gonna give his friend the resume," and it's like, "Yeah, I already know he's gonna give me a job. I don't need to look." Or, "Oh, my mom's friend," like, because with a lot of things, it's who you know, but which demographic knows so many more people, or knows so many people of the right areas? White people. And so it's like with Black people, we apply and put our resume to so many different things, but then it's really sad because I wish I knew before, because I might would have a job now, or well, no, I might would have had, because I probably wouldn't have lasted long at that job because of the racism and things. And I mean, I do like my job now, but okay. Okay, because yeah, I'm like, how do I word this? Because this was like years and years. This is like 12 years ago. About 12, 14. Yeah, I'll say 12 to 14 years ago. I applied for this job and had two phone interviews. Both of them go amazing. And they even offer me the job. And they're just like, oh, yeah, oh my gosh, we want to hire you. It's like what you know in your resume and everything, you're perfect. And I was so excited. And the first interview it went a little over, and I'm like, oh yeah, well, it's like, I see the time is, oh no, but yes, like, we love blah 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 blah. And then even the second time in the conversation, it's like the woman loved how my listening, because I was just like, oh, didn't your grandkid just have a birthday? And oh my gosh, and blah blah. And so it's like that got like even at the end of the interview, she wanted to talk and brag and everything like that. But an hour after the second interview, I got a notification on my cell phone that someone from that company looked at my LinkedIn. Yeah, I didn't know about ghosting your LinkedIn account until after, like years later. It wasn't until like 2 years ago that I found out about doing that. But I know why. I know why. Because after Like I think it was like 15 minutes to maybe an hour or something. Like I don't know the time, but like it went by really quick. But yeah, at first I saw it, and I was like, oh, okay, they looked at my profile, cool. It wasn't cool. Wasn't cool because then they basically notified me, but oh, we're so sorry, we already filled the position. And it's like yeah, it's like we know you're gonna find somebody else, and we know you're gonna be working blah 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 blah. And it's just like, what? But you offered me the position, and you said you were going to set up a face to face. Oh yeah, oh well, yeah, we're like miscommunication, we're sorry. mm. And even working promotions, there were a few times where I was like, okay, one time it was crazy because they already hired me, they already started training me and everything, but they forgot to ask for my picture. And I remember the lady was just like, oh, I am so sorry. The client wants to see a picture of you. Can you please send us a picture? And I do. And I do. And this is for a long term, like management position. Like I already had the job. I already had the job. Like I said, they were training me. I was like, because I was like, I think it was like a 3 week to 4 month of training where I would have the packet and the reading materials and things like that at home. But then I would go online and take the tests and show that I've been reading it, looking over it, studying it, and things. So, and I won't say which because I know exactly which product it was for. But I will say it was for a bar brand. It was for a bar brand. And and I think we were on week 2. Yeah, this is how long I was, and they never paid me a dime either. It's like, because yeah, when I said like studying is like it took like I mean I'm not saying it's like tons and tons of hours, but like at least pay me 4 hours a week for the training that I did. But anyway, it's like I sent them a picture of myself, and then next thing I know, they write me back telling me, we are so sorry, but the client says that you're not going to fit the demographic of the people that they're serving. And I'm like, oh, because I wrote them back. Oh, they don't want a black woman. Well, and it's like, because I remember it's like her response was, well, I can't say that. You can't say that because you're going to get you could get sued if because you should have asked for my picture before, so that you because yeah, there's other companies where they didn't want a black person, so then they would make up another excuse, which a lot of other jobs they do. Because I've had jobs say, oh, it's because you live too far, but then I find out the person they hired, like, oh yeah, I already told one of the stories because it's happened a couple times where they would like they say I would live kind of far, but then the other person that like they hired was just like a half-mile difference. And that's one reason why it's funny when they do group interviews. Yeah, may not want to do those group interviews because sometimes some of us starts talking, we get to know each other, and sometimes we even go to lunch after the interviews and start and stuff. So, and also when jobs would say that they need me to mail them the transcripts and stuff like that, but then no one else, like I'm the only black person that they interviewed for the position, but then all of the white people and the Asian people, no, no. And they look at me funny, like, are you sure that's for this job? You like, I don't have to send anything. What are you talking about? And I'm just like, oh, it's because they don't believe the black person has, because yeah, even one of the ladies, she said I was the most qualified for that position too. But I guess they didn't believe my education and stuff. So, so many people do not understand white privilege, and there's so much more too. But I'll talk about that in a later episode. Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for listening to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human, and you're human too.